Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the first official episode of the White Yoda podcast. I'm Ryan Dunkel. For those of you who don't know, this is a podcast for me to give back the knowledge that I've gathered on my journey to success as a teenager for any students or people in general that may find use in it. I'm super excited for today's episode. I have a topic that I'm very, very passionate about, and it's something that I feel is a detriment to society as a whole. I think it's the reason that a lot of people are not successful or have not reached the level of success that they wish to reach. So, without further ado, let's get on with the first episode of the White Yoda podcast. Guys, one of my biggest pet peeves is when someone discounts the success of another. You hear it all the time, whether it's in school, work, or anywhere where you gather a large group of people. You have people say things like, oh, that person makes good grades because they were naturally smart, without considering the hours that they spend studying after school, the fact that they pay attention in class while everybody else is playing on their phones or talking to their friends, and all of the weekends that they had to miss out hanging with friends because they were studying or doing homework for the next week. They say, oh, that superstar on the football team is only successful because he was naturally talented, without considering the fact that he spent hours and hours and hours perfecting his craft at practice. They say, oh, that person became rich because they got lucky, without considering the sleepless nights and the times that they were ridiculed by their peers because they were chasing their dreams. Every day you have people that chalk off the successes of others as luck because they want to feel better about not being at that level. And the reality of it is that all of these are excuses. They're excuses for why you aren't where you want to be. Sure, some people are born with different capacities for learning various skills, whether that be academically, athletically, or in business. But that doesn't mean that they don't work for it, because you still have to learn the things that it takes to be successful. Otherwise, you won't reach that level of success. Success doesn't discriminate. And this mentality that you drew the short straw in life and that's the reason that you're not successful is actually the reason that you're not successful in the first place. The truth is that every single successful person, whether that be past or present, has had to put in a tremendous amount of work, an amount of work that we can't even imagine. And to chalk off their success as luck is one of the most arrogant things you can say. The paths may be different. The paths to success are all going to be different. But the fact of the matter is that if you want to succeed in the endeavors you undertake, you're going to have to stop making excuses first and foremost. I mean, guys, you all know it's true. Just look at the people at school. I hear people at school complain about how smart everybody else is, and they make excuses for why it's impossible for them to make all A's. When they spent their Friday nights partying, they spent their Saturday nights and the entire days of Saturday hanging out with friends, they spend Sunday nights sleeping. I mean, during football season, sure, I went to football games, but I missed out a lot of football games because I was busy either doing work, going to practices, going to games, stuff that was more important to me because it was leading to my success. But you have people that would spend their Friday nights at football games. After the football game, they would go hang out with friends until early Saturday morning. Then they would sleep half of Saturday away, wake up, go to an SEC football game at night, spend the rest of the night doing that. They would get home late. They would then wake up either to go to church or they would sleep in the rest of the day. And then they spent the last half of their day watching NFL football. And then they expect to succeed. I mean, how can you expect to succeed with a schedule like that? You're spending half of your week doing nothing. And then you get to school and you spend the rest of it lollygagging around and not putting in any actual effort in anything you do. It's impossible to succeed like that. And until you take a good hard look at your life and you realize that you aren't doing everything you can to reach your goal, whatever that goal may be, you won't reach it. And you're going to remain one of these people that make excuses and that hates on successful people because you haven't reached the level that you want to be at. You have to look at yourself every single day and make sure that you're doing everything that you can to make yourself a better person. And if you aren't, and the fact of the matter is that most of us are not doing everything we can every day. And those of us that may be doing what we can, you can always get better. I can always become more efficient in the things that I do every single day. But if you aren't, then you can fix it the next day, and you should fix it the next day. And the really amazing thing is that once you start taking the time to invest in bettering yourself, you stop worrying about everything else that's going on. You forget to hate on the successful people or to make excuses for why you aren't successful, because you're working your tail end off to become successful. It's one of the most amazing things to see the negative effect that excuses are having on your life, and to drop them, because you start experiencing success left and right in every aspect of your life. And it is one of the most rewarding things you can imagine, to succeed while everybody else is making excuses, because you've overcome that whole excuse factor and you've become successful despite it. So it's getting about time to wrap this episode up. Before I go, it's time for the quote of the day. This is going to be a very one to kind of calm this episode down, since I got so passionate about it. So this is by B.C. Forbes, the founder of Forbes magazine, and he says this: "The most profitless things to manufacture are excuses." Guys, each and every one of us has the ability to succeed. What holds us back is these excuses that we make, and these stem from our jealousy of others' successes. We make excuses for them in order to make ourselves feel better. So make a promise to yourself today to start being honest with yourself, to stop making excuses, to celebrate the successes of others instead of discounting them, to make the most out of every single day, and to go out there and become successful instead of just wishing for it. That is the most important tip I can give you, because nothing else matters if you don't stop making excuses.